from the global resources of ABC News with Terry Moran in Washington and Martin Bashir and Cynthia McFadden in Times Square, New York. This is Nightline, July 11, 2006.
It happened again. Again, the carnage, again, the grief in India tonight. There is deep grief after the country's financial capital became the latest target of a heartless and deadly series of terrorist train bombings. The latest death toll, 190. Subways and trains are increasingly popular objects of terror attacks because, and maybe just because, they're so easy. And of course, that goes for American trains, too. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
In India, it was all over in minutes. 7 bombs exploding simultaneously at the height of rush hour. Nearly 200 dead and counting. One witness said there was a deafening sound. We were pushed from behind and fell off the train. We saw that many injured people had fallen from the train. If the images seem painfully familiar, they are. India is a searing reminder that mass transit is emerging as the preferred target of terrorists. Madrid, March 2004. Simultaneous explosions on commuter trains kill 191 people and injure 1,700. A little more than a year later, London, July 2005. Terrorists bombed 3 subway trains and a bus. 52 die. Nearly 800 are injured.
What you're seeing is the terrorists, as they lose their ability to do these very expensive attacks, supported by a lot of money, saying, why attack the tigers when we could take on the sheep? It shows a shift towards the place they think that they can reach the populace.
Yet with the attacks on commuter trains 3 years in a row overseas, U.S. mass transit officials claim the federal government is failing to deliver the protection the public needs.
How many more incidents does it take? Does it take explosions on American soil? That would really jar us into action, wouldn't it? Every day in America, 16 times more people use local public transit than use our airline system. And yet the federal government has invested over $20 billion in air security, less than $400 million in public transit. We think this is wrong.
The administration said it has increased funding for mass transit, but due to the sheer size of the system, localities have to take the lead.
You've got so many more people taking commuter trains and buses every day, and fewer taking airline security. Why the discrepancy?
Our approach is, hey, the state and local folks are already there. They're well equipped. We'll support them in training and technology. We provide dog teams. But it really, for the feet on the street, the best course is the state and local.
But protecting a mass transit system that relies on thousands of open platforms like this, serving millions of commuters every day, is a daunting task. Security analysts say no matter how you look at it, U.S. commuters are exposed and vulnerable.
This demonstration shows what just 15 pounds of high explosives hidden in a backpack can do to a commuter bus.
A bad guy can get the components he needs without having to steal explosives. He can get them in a hardware store and a few other stores, so they don't need to have high explosives. They can make high explosives. It doesn't take a lot of high explosive to do a lot of damage. The bombs in London, for example, were all believed to be under 10 pounds of explosives. That makes it difficult for the security forces because it's hard to detect that much. The physical volume that 10 pounds of explosives occupies is well below that fits in an average book bag.
Security officials agree the most effective weapons against commuter terror are a vigilant public, new security technology, and intelligence that is both specific and credible.
We are working diligently to maintain sources, develop new sources, do public outreach, do outreach into different communities where we hope to set the kinds of tripwires that'll make people come forward and tell us when they see something.
Well, you stop the attack before it begins. I think that's really the way. The great thing about the American transportation system is it is so open, and it is accessible to people, and that's what we need it to be. And I think the events of disclosed last week about the New York tunnels plot, that was interrupted overseas, that's exactly the way to do it, to have everybody working together to stop a plot before it even gets to the United States.
In New Jersey, one of the busiest transit systems in the country, authorities were demonstrating some of the new technology to detect explosives. Much of what is being tested is similar to what you would find at an airport. But police at every level admit one sobering reality.
This is something that we think we might see here, and so we're determined to try and do everything we can to protect these people.
For Nightline, Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
Pierre Thomas on the threat to mass transit in a time of terrorism. We'll take a break. When we come back, shift gears. We'll go to Korea and ask, who's afraid of Kim Jong-il and who's not? That's a sign of the times.